Well, I think it starts with a LinkedIn profile itself, and that's where the story begins. And how much or little you want to tell is really up to you. But I think the focus always needs to be on what your audience is going to get from it. What are they interested in? What do you need to tell them about you? How are they going to connect with you? How are they going to be interested in you? And it's not always about selling your services. It's often about just building a network and building an audience.
Hey guys, welcome. Today I have a special guest, Tom, who's going to talk to us about LinkedIn and the importance of how we can really leverage the power of LinkedIn to growing our personal brand or our business brand. So Tom, first I would like you to introduce to the audience your business and how did you get started into this journey of content?
My name's Tom Etherington. My company's Connect Content, and although it's a content marketing agency, much of what I do is based around LinkedIn, so based around personal branding and getting people's stories out there. I originally came from a magazine and newspaper background, so I used to interview a lot of people and tell their stories and that kind of thing.
Famous ones too?
Some famous ones, yeah. I won't drop any names right now. But and then eventually when I began my own business around content marketing, copywriting, that kind of thing, people's stories are really central, and that's why I focus on LinkedIn, and that's why I love LinkedIn.
Okay, so let's go back to the importance of the story. Like, tell me more. What gave you that aha moment that it is important?
Just that people really connect with people. I think that's the main thing, that so many companies just put the company story out there and expect everyone to buy into that and take an interest and like and follow their company, which they will to a certain extent, but it's really about connecting with people. And a lot of people, LinkedIn originally is a recruitment platform, so a lot of it still sounds like a CV, but it's a real chance to put your story out there and really tell people about your values, establish credibility, and personal branding exercise.
Okay, and so when it comes to story, how much of your story do you tell? I mean, people are probably wondering like, okay, so I've told them where I was born and where I grew up, but what more can I tell? So what are some examples of content that you have suggested to your own clients?
Well, I think it starts with a LinkedIn profile itself, and that's where the story begins. And how much or little you want to tell is really up to you. But I think the focus always needs to be on what your audience is going to get from it. What are they interested in? What do you need to tell them about you? How are they going to connect with you? How are they going to be interested in you? And it's not always about selling your services. It's often about just building a network and building an audience. So that's where it really first begins, that stories. But then it goes on to what sort of content you create on an ongoing basis. And that's really, again, what's going to interest and engage your audience. Forget about you want to tell them. What do they want to actually hear?
So there's a kind of a sweet spot between your experiences and your past and your story versus with what the clients want, and somehow you link that together. So for example, your audience might be parents and you also grew up, or you have kids and you're a parent, and somehow you could share some things that relate to them. Is that what you're saying too?
Yeah, it's finding that balance really between telling your story as in what's going to interest them, also sharing your expertise. I think that's the important thing. So most of the content that we help our clients put out there is really like what's going to generate interest for them, but also how's it going to help their clients, because people are, I think the old thing is WIIFM, that's what's in it for me.
Yes.
So what are you going to offer me? Although it's not quite as selfish or self-based as that, it really is trying to make open conversations, really, I think is a big, interesting way of putting it.
So Tom, tell us, how long have you been running this LinkedIn service, and what are some of the things that people can get help with on their LinkedIn?
Well, I've been running, LinkedIn in terms of creating people's profiles and things like that for about 7 years, probably, around that kind of time. Over time, it became more and more obvious that LinkedIn was getting bigger and bigger, and it was a real good opportunity to get in front of so many people, use it for networking, use it to win new clients, use it to reconnect with old clients, a million different things. So I developed something called a Brand360 Program, which is very much about coaching people to use LinkedIn, and also we can do some of it for you as well, but really a done with you kind of program to really help you, step you through the LinkedIn process. Get confident. Getting confident is a big thing. As with video content, it's getting confident in front of the camera, it's getting confident getting your opinions out there, getting your content out there.
Okay, so tell me more about the 360 program specifically.
Yeah. So specifically, we do a sort of strategy, like what do you want to achieve kind of thing. We tend to set people up with around a 3-month campaign, and that really works with niching into a particular area of your expertise, just for 3 months, just talking about that particular area, because obviously there's a lot of people out there potentially in your same industry, so just really focusing on one thing. And then we work out a strategy around creating content, connecting with the right people and opening conversations. So we call it the 5 C's of LinkedIn, which is create the profile, a campaign, connect with people, content, and then open conversation. So it's a really a flow. There's quite a bit to it, but we do try and help people have the biggest impact possible with the big sort of minimum input from themselves. So we try and get a balance because everyone's busy, but it's an important thing to do.
Yeah, and look, this morning I actually just had a conversation with a coach who coaches a lot of solopreneurs, and I was so surprised that she said that a lot of her clients don't use LinkedIn yet because they still think that it is a more for corporates and people looking for work. And I was like, really? Because in my world, I've been using it for a while, and I thought that's what you all do. And she said, oh, but according to Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, of course, the guru, LinkedIn is going to get more and better for business owners because it's becoming more like Facebook. And I'm like, I thought it's already like that. So what's your perspective on what's really happening on LinkedIn? Because for me, I thought that all of us business people are already on it, or is there still a lot that hasn't been on it?
There's definitely a lot that haven't been on it, and it's just not knowing where to start, really. It's a big scary thing, it can be, if you don't know where to start. So that's obviously what we do with a lot of our clients, is hold the hands through that initial process. And we have clients who literally, when they post the first thing, celebrate. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And they put this, are really happy and like, wow. And we're just sort of giving them a little glimpse about what that world looks like, and helping them because it's a hugely powerful tool, as you've identified. It's like, and it is still used for recruitment, it's still used for corporate, but there's a huge section that's growing and growing that's used for entrepreneurs, business owners are just able to amplify their networking efforts and really get their message out there.
Yeah, great. So what are some of the tips within the LinkedIn profile themselves? I want people, if they're watching this, they can walk away with some ideas as well. So on a LinkedIn profile, how do you actually optimize? How can you optimize your profiles so that people straight away can tell who you are and what you do?
Yeah, it's initially that shop window. So that first bit that you see, that just is, if you do nothing else, just get that.
You're talking about the top banner.
The top section. So a banner image that is in some way representative of what you do or who you are, depending on what you're doing. The headline. So originally that bit used to be the job title.
Yes.
And some people still refer to it as that now.
Like CEO or something, but no, you can do more than that.
Yeah, it says managing director of X firm, whatever it is. But now it can be a real headline introducing even your philosophy as well as what you do and what you offer and how you help people. It's a real chance to make the most of that and really, and then obviously the profile image, we still see a lot of people with their wedding picture, with their partner half cropped out of the picture, that kind of thing. So getting a really good profile picture, and even that in itself is just starting to tell that story, look professional. The about section is the important bit. That's really tell your story. Do it in the first person so that none of this sounds like a CV. A lot of people are still, and Tom Etherington did this when it should be I did this. It should be really coming from you, because that's what people are connecting with. So I mean, there's just a couple of little things. There's lots of ways you can optimize the profile and just get it really working for you. But just telling that story, I think, is a really important part, and not treating it like a CV, not copying and pasting from your website. Just the other thing is read it out loud as well. So if you write this section, read it out loud, see what it actually sounds like.
If you were visiting this profile,
get someone to read it out to you and think, how does this actually sound? Did I sound okay? This is how I normally talk. So when we create a profile, we actually interview people and record it and then transcribe it, because then it's in their voice. So it's something you can actually do that yourself. You can just record it, transcribe it, and see how it comes out, because you want it to sound like you. I think that's the important thing.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing that kind of surprised me is whenever I'm trying to do due diligence and I search up on someone's name, I would find that the first page would be LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And so I kind of realized, oh my God, we all should be taking advantage of this free landing page, free website, which LinkedIn has given us. And most of the time you go into someone's LinkedIn and there's nothing there, but it is the first page on Google that you'll find of their name. Yeah. And it's such a waste that we're not taking advantage of that.
It happens so often, and that is down to some of the keyword selection, because LinkedIn is quite powerful for that. But you're right, you just refer to it as a landing page. It really is a landing page for your personal brand. So if people land on there, is it a good, true reflection of you? That's a good way to look at it. And if it's not, then change it.
Yes. And this is where I really love using the featured section of LinkedIn as well. So this is where you can share links to your documents or your videos, etc. And I always encourage people, the next best thing to meeting you in face-to-face is a video. And so if you could actually share your story through videos and have it featured on this landing page of yours, then people will straight away get to know who you are, and they're more likely to say yes to having a catch-up with you. Yeah,
I love the featured section, because as you said, you can sort of talk the talk all the way through. You can write but that's a real chance to show your credibility and show what you can do. And not just video either, you can put PDFs in there, you can put links to websites. But that just starts to flesh out this whole personal branding landing page we just talked about. And like I say, that's adding anything extra into that just builds it out. And,
Yes. Well, we have Tom's details all in the description below, so do check it out. But if you have any questions for us around LinkedIn or making content at all on LinkedIn or YouTube, let us know, and we'll see you again in the next video.